in Texas, if you just moved to Harrison, there was nothing in the community to throw any alarms or red flags. It was just a nice, quiet little town. And then
there's no password if I got in. If I got in, there's no password.
Any of the history things.
Dave over here trying to learn.
What are you looking like that?
They're talking about Harrison, Arkansas, and the racism that's going on up there.
Very distressed by the treatment he felt
Ooh, this name.
kids he got.
We had a very gifted athlete who was black, and he was subject to racial slurs the whole night. After the game was over, they refused to shake her hands. So we left the field, went to buy the kids a meal before they traveled back to the theater.
He was howling. And somebody coming in the ghost suit to get a free sandwich. And the kid had thought it was defiant.
Black boy, looked up, was mortified, scared to death. I saw fear pour in his eyes. He ran off to the bathroom.
Here's the kid who comes over every time he comes here. He's scared that the client's going to come to him. I mean,
Make a difference. I want to make a difference. You need to make a difference. I want to make a difference.
If you weren't there, we wouldn't be here. It's the JC Loves Morning Show.
Dynamic Products is offering a dynamic gift for Dad. Pick 6 for Dad. Any 6 items in our product line. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, Dust,
We were on our way to Branson.
you name it.
Or Springfield.
$29.95 plus shipping.
Stopped in Harrison for gas.
Pick 10 for only $39.95. Pick 6 for Dad. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special. Dad and you will be glad you did. Each purchase receives a Coleman's Dynamic downloadable cookbook. We want to say Happy Father's Day for all the great fathers out there.
I understand it might not just come out in broad daylight and do some crazy stuff, but it's still Harrison. Like, I don't know what to expect from this guy.
Pick 6 or
So,
pick 10. You must call.
say to the man, man, what do you ask? Took their time, buying waters, and Gatorades, and jokes, and laughing and playing. And they finally casually come back and drive off, and I'm like, thanks a lot, man.
The views and opinions
Real
expressed
friends.
today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now,
Y'all need to download the app. I've told y'all before.
Solutions using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Black Focus.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Black Focus Radio. I can tell you all that I'm in a good mood today. That could mean a lot of different things from where I come from. But I am in a good mood today. I went fishing yesterday and was really successful. Caught a catfish about as long as my forearm. It was about 4 pounds. It was big. And caught some brim. So anytime I go fishing and I'm successful at fishing, then I'm usually going to be in a good mood. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't fall off the cliff any time over the next couple of hours. Cliff, no pun intended. In with us today, we've got Cliff May.
Hey, I'm here.
Let me turn on your mic.
Yay, I'm here.
And then we've got Robert Webb, who's wandering around outside somewhere.
This is Robert.
So he should be here in just a moment. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, of course. Black Facts are coming up. I want to ask you, did you watch Banished? Did you watch it? There's some information on there about Harrison, Arkansas. Did y'all know that? Yeah. Harrison. So it happened in Harrison, Arkansas, too. Really? Where's the governor from? Isn't it Berryville? I believe it is. Let me look it up real fast.
It's close. It's up there by Fort Smith, Fayetteville.
I believe he's from Berryville. Let's just take a gander. How about that? The internet is a wonderful tool. No, he's from Bentonville. I'm gonna be honest. I know very little about Northwest Arkansas. The only time I go to Northwest Arkansas is when I'm driving through it. The last time, and I'm going to be going the 4th of July weekend, not to Northwest Arkansas. I'm going to Kansas City for the 4th, and I'll be driving through it. In fact, I'll make sure that I get plenty of gas so that I will not have to spend one red dime in Northwest Arkansas.
You gonna give me some Gates barbecue sauce?
I am going to go to Gates. Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I am going to Gates.
I have some, my stepmom's family's from out there.
Okay, I'll bring you. Yeah, I'll go to Gates. But why would you need Gates when you've got Coleman's Dynamic Rib Juice? I mean, I'm confused here, Cliff.
You know, I like to alternate.
Oh, that just. Oh, what a save! What a save!
I like a little variety of them.
Yeah, we're going to Kansas City, and a couple of things I'm going to do, and then we're going to do Black Facts in a moment. A couple of things I'm going to do. I am going to Gates Barbecue. There is this humongous barbecue joint that sells all kinds of barbecue paraphernalia. I can't remember the name of it, but we're going there too. Because I'm gonna try to get my rub in their business. I mean, it's huge. Any kind of rub, barbecue sauce, I'll guarantee you they probably got 1,000 different types in that business. Plus barbecue grills, anything you need relating to barbecue is in this building. It's like the Walmart of barbecuing.
So
okay,
we should have a Dave's restaurant then.
No, I'm not doing restaurant, dog.
Pulled pork.
No.
Pulled pork galore.
I'm not.
Dynamic Dave's.
I'm not working 90 hours
Barbecue
a week.
Cave.
Been in the restaurant business before. Ain't going back.
Come on, Dave.
Sorry. I'll sell you product to make your pulled pork better, but as far as me pulling your pork, tain't happening. Sorry.
You can sell it to me pre-made.
But the other thing I'm gonna do is go to. We're going to Gates.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Gates is supposed to be the best in Kansas City. I've eaten at Gates before. And we're also going to, and it's funny because you got to know what you need to order when you go in.
Yeah, I've only seen the infamous Gates.
So you never went to Gates?
No, I've never been inside. I've seen it, drove by it. I think I've been outside of it, but I never got a chance.
No, you need to know what, because them little old women will chastise you. What's your order? Come on now. We busy. Barbecue. Oh, and everything in there, barbecue. A barbecue sandwich. What kind of barbecue sandwich?
Yeah.
And I'm going to the Negro League Museum. I'm a big museum person.
I didn't know they had one of those up there.
Oh yeah, that's where the MLB Negro League Museum is. It's the only one in the country. And I've had the pleasure of going once before. In fact, the last time I went to Kansas City. And I go to museums, and if I go to your city and I'm new to your city, the first thing I'm your museums. I'm a museum person.
That's what we usually do.
You know, part of it is that I'm a history person. So you go to museums to get some of that history. Yeah. So going to that museum was.
Atlanta's got a really nice civil rights museum.
Oh yeah. Going to that museum, they've got part of the museum. They have a mini baseball field, and they've got each great player from the Negro Leagues at his prospective position with a statue at each one of the fields. I mean, each one of the positions on the field. And they're lifelike, you know, and it's pretty cool. And then they've got all of these signed baseballs that were signed by, I think it's It's over 200 of them, I believe. And they are signed by individual Negro League players. Now, the story behind that, and let me see if I can find, but the story behind it is those baseballs were going to be auctioned off. And a band, I'm trying to remember the name of the band who bought, who found these baseballs at the I'm sorry, I'm typing here. I'm trying to find this because I want to be, y'all know I like to. I can't remember who did it, but anyway, this band member, he went to this auction. He was a big baseball fan, and he went to the auction, and all of these Negro League baseballs were being auctioned off. I mean, all of this history, it's unfortunate because typically we don't own our history. You know, you talk about what's going on right now with Ebony Magazine. Ebony Magazine is about to be sold off, okay, to the highest bidder. And all of that history, all of that culture, all of those archives, all of those pictures are going to be lost because we as black people don't have sense enough to reclaim our own history. Just right down the street at the Mosaic Templars, we don't even own that history in that building. That's supposed to be the Black Museum of Little Rock, and we don't own any of that history in that building. Okay? So anyway, to make a long story short, this guy found these baseballs, and instead of putting them up for auction, he decided that he was going to give them to the Negro League Baseball Museum. So they are now on display at the Negro League. And I know this story. I'm sorry, I can't even think about it. In fact, I'll tell you what, we're going to reach out and get the founder of the Negro League Baseball Museum on there, on the show. But this band member, and I'm going to have to look this up in a break. But this band member saw the baseballs, purchased them at this auction, and then donated them to the Negro League. So that's the other place that we're going in Kansas City. And of course, we'll get a little jazz because, you know, Kansas City is known for jazz. You know, yeah, you know, no sounds designed with you in mind. Yeah. Okay. LaTanya says, yeah, the Negro League is nice. Yeah, I guess she's been. It's a really nice museum. It really is. Okay. 855-525-5683 is the number. So y'all know what we do about this time.
Dynamic Black Facts. Our culture, our history, our people.
Well, in keeping in what we've been talking about the last couple of days, and of course, I watched a little bit more of the documentary that Tanya sent me, LaTanya Grimes Gibson sent me again, and I'm still mad at you, LaTanya Grimes Gibson. So the next time I see you, I might even just throw some hands. I'm just letting you know, LaTanya, because I don't appreciate you sending me stuff that I can use on my show that's gonna tick me off. Okay, so I'm just letting you know. So this black fact, and by the way, if you haven't went out and saw Banished, Harrison, Arkansas makes an appearance in this documentary.
Sure enough.
Yeah, so
not the head of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, Harrison, Arkansas.
Not with the Grand Wizard list.
Yeah, Harrison,
they
Harrison, Arkansas makes it. So here is my black fact for today. I've read this black fact before, but again, as I tell you all over and over again, if you're not talking reparations to me, I don't give a damn if you're running for dog catcher. You ain't talking reparations to me, you ain't getting my vote. Here's another example. During the 1940s, it was rare for a black person to have control over an enormous amount of land. Okay? White men killed black ministers, still over 270 acres. Okay? However, Reverend Isaac Simmons of Amity County, Mississippi, owned more than 270 acres of debt-free land. His family is said to have owned the land since 1887 and worked the land producing crops and selling the wood. It was not long before rumors began to spread that there was oil in southwest Mississippi. A group of 6 white men decided to show up on Simmons' land and warn him to stop cutting lumber. Simmons consulted with a lawyer to work out the dispute and ensure that his property would belong to his children even in his death. Later, the men showed up at the house of Simmons' eldest son, Eldridge. They ordered him to show them the property line. While Eldridge and the men were riding out to the property line, the men began to beat Eldridge and shout that the Simmons family thought they were smart niggers for consulting an attorney. The men then rode to Reverend Simmons' home, dragged him out of his house, and drove off the property with him in the car. The men shot Reverend Simmons 3 times, cut out his tongue, and told his son that the family had 10 days to get off the land. 3 days later, Reverend Simmons was buried and his family fled the area, so the killers took possession of the land. Later, an all-white jury acquitted only one of the 6 men to face trial for the murder. I'm going to say it again. Y'all not hearing me. If you don't have a reparations plan, you can't get my vote. And that means I may not vote because I need you to have a reparations plan. Kamala Harris, Cory Booker. You of all people, but that's right, y'all don't have to worry about it because y'all can pass. And that's our Black Fact for today.
Keep listening to Black Focus Radio for more dynamic Black facts, our culture, our history, our people on JoyNetRadio.com.
And don't forget, you can sponsor Dynamic Black Facts as well as this show. Just give me a call at 615-554-0568. Want to remind people that the Father's Day Pick 6 and Pick 10 is still in full effect. It will go through Father's Day. You will be able, what are you doing? You will be able to pick 6 or 10 of my items. 6 items for $29.95. 10 of them for $39.95. You don't have to be a rocket scientist or Robert Webb to figure that the $39.95 deal is the better deal. By the way, I will be at Juneteenth this weekend, so until I run out, I will have 10 boxes. Once they're gone, they're gone. So if you want to get one of these boxes for Father's Day, for your dad, your brother, your uncle, your cousin, then be sure to come see me Juneteenth. Okay? Enter Robert Webb to the show. Hey, Robert, how you doing?
Bro, I'm up in this piece.
You ready, aren't you?
Up in this piece.
You ready? You look like you've been up all night.
Yeah, man, it's been rough out here, man.
But you can sleep on the flight though, right? you big time. Look at you. You kind of look like I did when I was on the way to Hawaii. No, you didn't look that good. You don't look that good because I was looking good.
When I come back, I'm gonna look good.
You gonna have a tan?
I'm gonna have a deep tan.
You gonna have some tan lines?
Deep tan lines. Good. Plastic surgery done while I'm there, man.
There you go.
I'm gonna do it
all. Get a little
man.
augmentation, huh?
Get a little augment.
There you go. There you go. So when are you leaving? By the way, Robert is about to fly to Pebble
Leaving in the
Beach.
morning.
Why in the morning?
Because it starts tomorrow.
I know it starts tomorrow, but that's right. It's West Coast time. So what time are you leaving?
Leaving at 9:48.
What time you get there?
1 something.
1. It will have already started.
Yeah, I don't care about the first 2 days. It's just Saturday and Sunday I really want to see.
Well, what if Tiger doesn't make the cut?
Tiger gonna make the cut, baby. He gonna win it. What you mean not gonna make the cut?
Okay.
Like, he gonna win this.
I'm just wondering. So I think it's gonna be, and take lots of pictures. It's gonna be beautiful. So you're gonna get to walk on the grounds of Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
It'll be easy to pick you out.
I doubt it.
You got that.
I'm going with a group of brothers.
Oh well, it'll be. All I got to do is Google it, do Google images, and I'll be able to pick a little black spot out.
That's terrible.
I'm serious. Is true. You'll be shadowed by a couple of police too. Y'all group.
We will have security, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we call
They won't be there to secure you.
We will have
they'll be there to secure you, all right. Yeah. Yeah, so that ought to be interesting.
Security, brother.
You know, so that ought to be interesting.
Man, it's gonna be fun, man. I've been looking forward to this trip for about 4 months now, so I'm ready to go.
Now, how long are you going to be gone?
I'll be gone from the 13th to the 24th.
That's not bad. So you're gonna go to wine country and do some wine stuff?
Man, all I'm gonna do is play golf, man.
So you're gonna get a chance to play Pebble Beach as well?
Yeah, we're gonna play Pebble Beach, man.
Now you might want to check the day after the tournament. Most places open up so the media and regular Joes can play the course that was put out by the PGA. Did you know that?
It's gonna be expensive, but yeah, that's what's gonna happen, baby. It's about to go down.
Well, you're packing like a minor mule anyway. So.
Yeah, I wish.
So I mean,
I was gonna talk to you after the show, man. I need you to give me a little something before I get up out of here.
Huh?
Whatever, man. Yeah, you did your brother. That's all right, though. That's all right. We'll talk after the show. Okay. I don't need 6 figures.
You don't?
I just need like 3, 4.
Oh man, I carry that around in my car. Hey,
you probably got an ATM in your trunk.
Yeah, kind of. Hey, or you can just go over to Cajuns and get something out of the safe.
I was thinking about going by Cajuns. I'm glad you told me that.
You know, so there you go.
Just run by and check it out.
Just run and check it out, man. It's probably open.
Brother.
Get you some liquor, everything else. You know.
You're sick, brother.
You know, I mean, what business that's closing leaves money in their safe? I don't understand that. Now, those of y'all don't know what I'm talking about, and I was going to talk about this a little bit today anyway, so I'm glad it came up. Cajun's Wharf, as you know, last Thursday closed. Well, it was last Friday. I guess it was going to be June 1st. Was going to be their last day. So we and some friends went over on Friday night because, we just happened to be going over there.
Yeah.
And this was when people were sitting out on the patio.
Okay.
Over the river. I mean, literally over the river.
Right.
I walked out there briefly to take a couple of snaps and hurriedly came back in because I didn't.
It's not that bad, Dave. It's not like right over the river.
Oh, it was that night.
What you mean it was that night?
The flood was still going on.
Okay.
And you couldn't drive behind Cajuns.
Right. Okay.
They had that blocked off.
So the driveway wasn't there. Okay.
No, the patio was literally over the river.
Did you walk down the steps so you could put your feet in the water?
No, I wasn't about to let an alligator reach out there and grab my nugs.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
But anyway, so Saturday was supposed to be the last day, and let me get those out of the way. And unfortunately, the river began to crest, and they closed off all of that area. Junior Deputy Ballpark was underwater. All of that area where that little shopping area, all of that stuff was underwater. So apparently the folks at Cajuns figured that,
we didn't get our last day, right?
Nobody's going to be here. So they decided to go and enjoy Cajuns anyway. And apparently, now there was at least $14,000 in a safe that was left at Cajuns. So they took all of that money, as much as they could carry, and they took top shelf liquor. And they had duffel bags, according to the reports, and they used carts to wheel because it was so heavy. Believe it or not, $14,000 is pretty damn heavy.
Nah.
Okay? When it's packed with top shelf liquor.
$14,000.
Yeah, when it's packed with top shelf liquor, yes.
That might be a bit different.
So they use carts apparently, and I know exactly what kind of carts, restaurant carts, because I've spent so many time in the business, to wheel the money and the booty out of Cajuns, so to speak. And and it's gone. But here's the thing. Who knew that $14,000 that money was left in Cajuns?
The owner.
Okay.
Now, Mary Beth, I love you very much. I'm not saying that you stole your own money.
Your hand is kind of blocking it.
Oh, sorry. I don't walk you.
Somebody by the name of Ryan Webb said, "Hey, Robert."
What's up, son?
So, but $14,000 in top shelf liquor. Someone had to know. See, a regular burglar wouldn't know where the safe room was.
Well, how you get in the safe first off?
Was the safe left open? Because see, I know when
insurance companies don't replace cash.
No, they can't recoup this.
No, they don't replace.
No, they can't recoup any of this. And even still, all that liquor that they have left over at Cajuns, they can't resell that. That's illegal. So whomever knows Mary Beth, they may probably end up, because she has 2 other restaurants. They might
Capers and
Cash. It's Cash.
I don't think Cash is hers.
It's not hers. I thought Cash was hers too.
No, she has Capers and what's the one downtown?
Cash.
Copper Grill.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's Copper Grill. Okay, so they'll probably just move all that liquor over to those facilities.
That would make sense. Yeah.
But I mean, when I first read the story, the first thing I said was inside job. Because see, I worked at a similar restaurant. In fact, the people that opened Captain Bilbo's in Memphis, they came from Cajun's Wharf. And they had a safe room. And periodically, when you'd walk by the door would be open. And you could look in and the safe would be open. And it was tons of money in there. Okay? So, but most times it was locked. So number one, how did they get in the safe room? And then how did they get in the safe? Think about that.
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
And who would have known that money was there? So they broke the window, went straight for the safe. Somebody had to know that money was there. I'm just saying.
That's a very good question.
So former employees are probably getting some interesting interviews. All I'm saying is don't go out and buy the new car yet.
That's sick.
Plus, you couldn't buy it with 14 anyway. Well, you get a pretty decent car. Here's the thing:
I'll make a nice down payment. Yeah.
You buy one for $9,900.
2 good down payments.
Yeah. No, here's what you do: buy it for $9,900.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, you can hear me fine in your headset? Okay, now I can hear you. Okay, all right, I'm cool now. Okay.
So you know why you buy it? See, if you buy it and it retails for $9,999.
Hey, if they want to buy a house, they got a house for sale. They can get it for 14.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Come holler at your boy.
But you don't want to do that cash 14.
No.
Because anything over 10 grand, then the FBI is on you.
I do the cash 14. We selling the house. So I don't care where your cash comes from.
There you go. There you go. So I just thought that was interesting since you brought that up. But the people over at Cajuns, they doing their thing. All right. So what are you laughing at, Cliff? Okay. So let me just read the T's real fast. Things Dad hates for Father's Day. Okay. So I want to talk about today. Throughout the show, we're going to be throwing out some gifts that dads hate. Robert, you got any gifts that you hate that your kids bought you for Father's Day that you hate?
No, because I don't get none, bro.
You don't get none
about that. I don't do that.
Okay, good.
I don't even do that, player. I ain't got to worry about none of that.
Oh, good.
Hello.
By the way, Ryan, get your dad a Father's Day gift, okay?
He already know. It ain't going
down. Okay. Get him. Hey, take him out to dinner.
It ain't going down.
Okay.
Ain't going down.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about that today. I'm gonna throw out a couple of that fortunately I've never gotten, but I always tell people not to get. Fairstein is still getting her tail kicked, and it's enjoyable. She's getting wore out, boy, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. What's the latest?
She's been excommunicated from another publisher. So now she's coming back and saying that everything was lies. She's doubling down on her ignorance. They're going after, there was another female prosecutor as well. It's her turn in the barrel now. Black Twitter's on the way.
Well, she actually started out really well. And I was really disappointed by her. And the reason I was disappointed by her, because she kept saying none of this makes sense. You got 4 different kids who gives 4 different accounts of the crime, and they'll even give the right location where it went down, right? And so, that being said, I just find it really hard for her. So, the lady who ran the investigation, I don't give her nothing.
That's Fairstein, Linda Fairstein.
Fairstein, I give her nothing. She is her actions. I don't know what kind of person she is. She could be a great person. But her actions... Pretty
clear she isn't.
But her actions doing... Well, I don't think this one incident makes a person a good person or a bad person.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I mean, that's okay, Dave. But her actions doing this, she was horrible, man. You see Dave like, all right, Dave, my bad. Dog. Horrible, Dave.
That's kind of like saying a KKK member, although he done hung 10 black folks, those one actions doesn't mean anything bad. So I'm agree with that.
Well, you got a lot of bad people who've done good things. You got a lot of good people who've done bad things. I don't think that necessarily makes you a bad person because you've done bad things. I mean, you've done bad things. Doesn't make you a bad person per se.
So you're saying that if you do bad things, you're not a bad person, potentially.
We've all done some things that we're not proud of.
I haven't.
Okay, St. David. I've done some things I'm not proud of, but those bad things did not make me a bad person.
Okay.
I just did some bad things, and I like to think the same about her. She did some bad things. Like I said, I don't know what kind of person she is, but doing this thing, man, she was horrible. It was like, I mean, to some degree, I kind of understand the mentality. She had committed herself. She had to go all the way down, right? She had stuck her foot all the way. She had stuck her foot all the way down the alligator's mouth, right? She had to go all the way. She couldn't turn back. I mean, even when they tested the sock DNA, she couldn't turn back. I mean, it was like you keep getting chance after chance to turn back, and she never did.
So you just made my point. She kept getting chance after chance to show that she was a good person.
Well, you know what?
Every chance that she got, she proved that she was a bad person.
I'm not trying to justify her actions, but I will say this. So, to her defense, she said in the movie that all these white women had been, raped and abused, right? And she was going hard for the white women.
For the white women.
For the white women being raped and abused. And she was going hard for that, right? But the thing that kind of struck me as odd is it's kind of an oxymoron, right? For you to go hard for women who were raped and abused, but then here you are raping and abusing for black men. It's kind of an oxymoron to me, but yeah, she went hard for it. She went really hard.
That's that toxic feminist.
Now, if I were a victim and she was doing that for me, I would feel good about it, right? I mean, anybody would if she's going that hard for you.
I'd hate her for the rest of my life.
But when
I'd be the person that would hate her for the rest of my life.
But when I was on the other side.
But when you want her to make sure she got the right person.
Oh, without a doubt. But that's why I said it's kind of oxymoron, right? That here you are talking about how women are being abused, but yet still, if the guy hadn't killed somebody, you would have never caught him. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So had he not murdered the woman, you would have never caught him. So.
And those 5 men would still be in jail today.
Still be in prison, yeah. Well, what's crazy to me though is if you go back. So have y'all watched it yet?
No.
Okay. So if you go
I know
back,
the story. So
if you go back and you watch it, the way the guy who did the crime walks out of the park, you go, you can't be serious. He could have just did it like this, because the dude beats her up. Now, first off, he hits her in the head, drags her, with a pipe, drags her into a little path right off the running trail, beats her up again when she comes to, then he rapes her, and then he just walks out. Blood, covered in blood, with a cell phone, and nobody thought to call the police. I mean,
But you know what? That's typical New Yorker behavior.
This is crazy.
Remember back then, and what was that, in 90? Remember New York for a long time, it was mind your own business. Don't say anything. Don't get involved.
Let me tell you something.
And that attitude is pervasive across the country.
If I see a cat walking down the street with blood on him, I like to think I'm going to make a phone call.
Well, see, now, I think most people would, because you got video. First thing people are going to say, man, I got to Facebook Live this. Let me put this on Facebook. But back then, people weren't trying to get in nobody's business.
Yeah, I think I had a situation like that where I was in Virginia. I seen a guy at a gas station. And he had just got a car. He was pumping gas. He's wearing a white A-shirt. He's got all kinds of blood on him, like he had just been in a gang fight. I looked at him. He looked at me. And walked in, paid for my little snacks, and kept on going.
Hey, let me keep my eye on him.
And he was twice my side. I don't know if he's the victim or the aggressor. So
I ain't getting in there. Homeboy, I ain't doing it.
Cliff was just like,
this is Virginia too, so they don't play up there in Virginia.
Yeah, Chris was like, do your thing. I mean, Cliff was like, do your thing. It's cool with me. You cool with me, play?
Well,
once I see some siren, just someone laying next to him on the ground, and I'll drop off and call from a distance.
you could have got a Crime Stoppers reward, Cliff.
They got an offer first day.
Yeah.
Well, what you do is say, hey, y'all got a reward for this guy walking around with a bloody shirt? They say, no. Well, no, I haven't seen that.
I didn't see that. That's it.
Man. Virginia's crazy, man. I got some Easter Wilson up there.
So here's the other part of the tease today. We'll get more into that. Everybody and their mamas is selling CBD something. Everybody. Kroger's is even selling CBD now. There's this little convenience store around the corner from me selling CBD oil.
I got a gas station back in Russellville. They're selling CBD gummy bears.
So when are all these people sitting in jail for weed getting released? So we're going to talk about that today. And where would the U.S. be if the feds had taken care of white terrorists 50 years ago?
What white terrorists are you talking about?
The KKK?
Well,
skinheads?
Isn't it interesting that the KKK of all the groups all the groups, Black Panthers, I mean, you name all these groups, the KKK is the only one that's alive. Mm-hmm. So I was also thinking about something. Somebody this morning on Tom Jonas show, they were talking about Loving versus Loving versus Virginia?
Yeah.
Is that it? And I often wonder, had it been a black man,
now you say that so people are listening. So tell them what
Loving versus Virginia was the law that gave people the right to marry, made interracial dating illegal. I mean legal.
Made me illegal.
Yeah, I mean made you legal.
Cliff wouldn't be here.
Yeah. So I listening to the conversation today, it made me wonder, right?
Oh yeah.
So let's say if the man had been black and the woman had been white, would it be legal? You with me? Because I look at everything around gay rights and all this stuff, and so what you start to notice is,
or if the woman had darker skin.
Yeah, well, I don't think that would have mattered.
Yeah,
I don't think that would have mattered because it was a white man. So my point is that when you start to look at gay rights, you start to look at all this stuff. People say, well, gay legislation hadn't really progressed, but gay legislation took a huge leap during the Obama administration, right? Of all the other things that were brought to the forefront, gay rights was really pushed hard during the Obama administration. And what blew my mind, what's blowing my mind currently, is that as we have conversations around all the stuff we talked about with the Central Park 5, isn't it kind of interesting? Or have we ever just taken a moment to think, had the man been black and the woman been white, would it have been such an easy task to push through? Because again, who determines what happens in this country? I mean, most of your judges are white men, and white men are looking at Mr. Lovin thinking, if I want me a black woman, I should be able to get me a black woman. Mm-hmm. You with me? I mean, that's the rationale. That's the way I look at it.
So subconsciously, the vestiges of white men being able to go and rape black women played a role in them pushing through that. Is that what you're saying?
I wonder.
I think you can take that step.
I wonder. I can't take that step because I don't know the process. I don't know the thought process.
It can easily be a subconscious thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be an outright.
Yeah, right. It's definitely something. Look, give you an example. So, a friend of mine in college wanted me to fix him up with a black chick. Okay, and he went on and told me the story of what his dad, and even today they'll tell you black women, you're not a man until you slept with a black woman. So they're still today teaching their sons to pursue black women as sexual objects as opposed to pursuing them for love and commitment and things of that nature. So, not surprised.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said though, that made me think. Would it have been as easy to
I want to say it probably wouldn't.
I don't think so either. Because
going back to Birth of a Nation, it was like their whole thing.
Right, it was the whole thing. Yeah, mm-hmm. They over sexualized this in so many ways. I think the penis thing is a great example of that. Of people talking about
What are you talking about? I live the myth.
Okay, you live the myth. But you know, they're always talking about how.
I told you I went fishing yesterday, so I feel good today.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. You're totally different
Just to
guy.
prove that theory, just come to wrestle with, man. We've got a town, I was told the other day, that over in Atkins, which is surprising. Knowing what Atkins is, supposedly they've got like almost like a whole school filled up just biracial children. So you come on, wrestle to prove your theory.
Really? I don't know.
I'm a dime a dozen in that area.
So you're not the exception. You're the rule, huh?
Well, I'm the exception when it comes to speaking out about stuff.
But other than that, no.
Well, I just think it's interesting because as you all talk about that, I mean, this whole thing about immigration that's really what this is about. Their fear of becoming extinct. Mm-hmm. They knew. I keep going back to the paper. I want to say it was published. The picture of this black child. I want to say it was published before the Civil War, and it was a cartoon picture of a black child that lay dead and bleeding, and a white man stood over him with a pistol and a knife, and the caption read, "I had to kill you now because you're going to grow up to rule me." That's deep. That was back in the 1800s. That a paper would publish that picture. So they've known, geneticists apparently, they've known for a long time. And I guess through their illegal acts of slavery, it kind of became obvious that when they raped a black child and that child became pregnant and the baby was born and the baby was black, I think all of a sudden they realized, oops, over the years, because if you're talking about, 18, if that and I want to say 1865 was when that cartoon was published.
That makes sense. That's when freedom.
Right,
came.
right. So I want to say then that's when it's. So you're looking at the first slave came here in 1619. Okay.
Right.
So 1619 to 1819, that's 200 years. So they had 200 years to study. We all know that they use black women and men for experiments, medical improvements, whatever the case may be. So I think it didn't take a rocket scientist at that point to see that all these quote-unquote mulatto children being born and they're considered black, how that's going to change the landscape over time.
I think Cliff really disappointed.
Why is that?
Because he fights back. He's not supposed to fight back. He's mulatto.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be nice.
You got the wrong side of the
You're supposed to be Obama player. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be.
I mean, I am 38% British.
There you go.
Ancestry.com. So maybe it's the.
So they're now
it's
selling your DNA, right?
It's the revolutionary side of me.
You say what?
I said, they're now selling your DNA, right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm serious.
They're going to be disappointed.
So if you just a side note, if you have those people to trace your DNA, they now put it in a database and they sell it to various companies.
And mostly police departments.
And I wouldn't be surprised, police departments as well.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you're a police department...
Well, that's how they caught the guy in California. Did y'all read that?
No, I didn't.
So this guy who was a police officer, who had been, he was a serial killer. Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
Yeah. One of his relatives went to test their DNA. Wanted to do whatever it is, test your DNA. Yeah. So the police departments buy this DNA from these companies. Oh, sorry about that, Dave. So police companies buy this DNA from these companies, and what they do is they take the DNA and see if they have any kind of match. Well, they found a match between this serial killer and this lady's DNA. So they went and talked to her, asked her who were her relatives, and the whole nine, which led her back to a former police officer who had spent some 20 years murdering and raping women, but then they didn't have any DNA. But by the time they got DNA, the guy was like in his 70s, and they just arrested him. I think it was like last year. Yeah. Wow. And so they bought the DNA. They bought the DNA from that organization. So.
Right. So if you do that, it's just like now when these cards, when you go to these, do you have a blue card? Do you have a red card? No. Do you want one? No.
What's the blue card and the red card?
No, I'm just these different cards that you have to use.
Oh, the rewards.
These reward cards. All that is a ploy to get your data so they can sell your data and make millions of dollars off of it. So I have decided, in fact, I started doing this about 5 years ago. You're not getting mine. You know,
you going off the grid?
I'm trying to look. I'm moving further. Like 2 weeks ago, where was I? I was up in the mountains.
Yeah, you're trying to get off the grid.
Okay, I'm serious about this because
I am buying more guns. I bought probably 4 guns in the last 8 months. I'm buying more guns.
Good for you. I'm gonna buy some more. I want an AK-47.
I don't need that kind of firepower.
I do.
But I did buy another. I bought another 380, and I bought a really nice Benelli rifle, man. Really nice.
Well, I want an AK-47. I need to go hunting.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What?
You don't hunt with an AK-47.
Well, that's what they say they do with them.
What the hell are you going hunting for with an AK-47?
No, it's for sport.
A deer. I mean, hey, you can't miss with that sucker.
Dave, stop it.
What?
You cannot go hunting with an AK-47, bro.
What they don't know won't hurt them.
If you gonna shoot a deer with an AK-47,
whoa,
gonna rip him up. You ain't gonna have much meat.
I'm just gonna squeeze the trigger one time.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, by the way, hey, look, think about it from this perspective. It'll automatically tenderize the meat.
See, Cliff? You only get this one day a week. I get this. Come on, Dave. Come on.
But yeah, I do want an AK-47.
So you just wanted to have. You don't want to go hunting. You just wanted to have. You are a sick brother. I want an AK-47, man, because I'm awaiting the purge.
So I didn't know this. LaTanya just posted this. I didn't know that this was a thing. LaTanya says, that's why I tell my female friends it's not a compliment because a white man wants to sleep with you. Yeah. So I didn't know black women thought that was a compliment that a white man wanted to sleep with them. Wow.
I know some
because,
date white guys. It's kind of annoying. Wow.
Well, the one that was in, what was that, in Mississippi last week, who was dating a police officer, and she was black. He ends up killing her.
The Ivory Coast in Ghana. Your boy's DNA.
Whose is this?
It's Cliff. Cliff's from the Ivory
Oh,
Coast.
you got a little Molly in you, Malian.
Oh, you got Molly? I didn't see Molly.
Yeah.
I got royalty here, royalty.
Man, you might be some kin to Mansa Musa.
Well, yeah. I ain't wanna, brag. I just try to be like one of the common people.
All I gotta say is can a brother borrow $1? Because they're saying that Mansa Musa, even in today's time, he'd be the richest man in the world.
Yeah. You know they're doing this Go Back for Free program too
over in Ghana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I've got one big trip left in me.
I mentioned it to my wife a couple times. She wasn't a big fan of it.
Well, you don't want to go back.
All my family's in California. This is like
I've been looking at that.
I like that one.
So, but anyway,
you going to Ghana?
I'm thinking.
You going to stay?
I'm thinking about it.
You going to Ghana to stay?
I'm already.
You're going to Ghana to stay.
Would you just shut up and let me talk?
My bad, Dave. I apologize. You're going to Ghana to stay. Okay, go ahead.
I already began to make arrangements that when I die, that I'm going to be
buried in your homeland.
I'm going to be set afire.
You're going to be cremated.
I'm going to be cremated. Yeah, and I want my ashes to be taken and sprinkled off the coast of Ghana, off of West Africa.
I want to be sprinkled off the coast of the Ivory Coast.
So
where Cliff's from? The Ivory Coast and Ghana.
Well, the Ivory Coast is where the door of no return is.
Yeah, that's where I want to go.
Yeah, so
I don't want to come back.
That's the West.
I don't want to come back and do this over again.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, you die, you get to come back and do this all over again until you get it right.
No, if I come back and it's still like this,
you ain't going to remember.
I'm taking some folks with me.
You ain't going to remember?
Yeah, deja vu, baby. That happens to me all the time.
I get deja vu too, but you ain't going to remember. You're going to get you're going to get one glimpse of one moment in time. You're not going to get enough to know that you were back here before. That's his heartbeat. Y'all own one today. This gonna be an interesting show.
So, but no, I mean, I'm just saying, I would like to. I am gonna go back eventually. You know,
I'm going back to Ghana. To Ghana.
There you go. Where did I heard that song before?
I don't think so.
I think Trevor Noah might be my third cousin.
Trevor Noah. He's from South Africa.
Gee whiz. Y'all really going hard today. Y'all
He's
know
from
that,
South
right?
Africa.
Y'all really on one today.
Take away the glasses and the weight.
Speaking of which,
oh Jesus,
which country in Africa had the most pyramids?
Egypt, probably.
No.
Egypt didn't have the most pyramids.
You have to remember that Egypt evolved from another civilization.
That's right. I'm gonna say Africa.
Zimbabwe?
Egypt is in Africa.
Damn, hold on, what am I thinking?
You have to realize that there are 54 different countries in Africa. And
so if I say Africa, I cover all 54. I mean, it got to be one of them.
Wow.
It can't be nowhere else. It can't be nowhere else. I mean, damn, come on. I said Africa. What you trying? You want me to be more specific, bro?
Yo, could
you want me to say like
more? If you were on Jeopardy, you would have gotten.
So you want me? Okay, so you want me to pretend like I'm on Jeopardy? Okay, let me think for a second. What? So hold on before you do that. Let me make sure I got the question right. So you said what? Say it to me again.
What country in Africa had the most pyramids?
What country in Africa has the most pyramids? Now, technically, I answered your question, but I did answer it incorrectly. So let me think for a second. What city in Africa?
No, what country?
What country in Africa has the most pyramids? So I'm trying to remember now who has the diamond mines. The diamond mines are in Ghana, right? Right, Cliff?
I think they're Nigerian.
Nigeria is the one that has the most. They're the one that has the most.
Resources.
No, the
most
pyramids. Yeah, they're the one that has the most pyramids. Yeah. Yeah, I'm right. You're just trying to be a butt. Go ahead.
Sudan.
Really?
Hold on. I thought Never mind.
You thought Sudan what?
Never mind. Go ahead.
You thought Sudan was in the Middle East?
Go ahead now. I thought Sudan was a part of. I thought Sudan was a city in. What's the Majigga?
Sudan. A city in Wassamajigga.
I thought it was a city in Wassamajigga.
Sudan is actually a country, and the capital of Sudan is Khartoum. And
you are correct. I apologize. You're right.
Amazing, I know that.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy. We both know that. That's crazy.
The point is,
but hold on, you're right, because I always get that mixed up. I always want to say that Sudan, because your boy was from there, and I always wanted to say, I don't know what made me draw the connection, but I always wanted to make the connection be that Sudan was in. I can't even think right now, but yeah. That's what I wanted to make.
The reason I'm saying this is because, if you don't understand history, we'll be fooled. Everybody thinks that all this pyramid and knowledge came from Egypt. Well, Egypt developed after Sudan. And Sudan is considered part of the sub-Saharan region. Okay? All of the knowledge, all of the math, science,
all that came
the
from
teaching,
Sudan.
the Egyptian mystery system. It's funny they call it the Egyptian mystery system, but that mystery system developed in sub-Sahara, which was south of Egypt. Okay, so just thought I'd throw that out there for you all's edification.
Thank you for being so knowledgeable, Dave.
What?
I got something for you, man.
All right, well, hurry up.
You can't rush perfection, man. Tell him, Cliff, you can't rush perfection.
So while you got something for us, okay, I don't have to read this. Let's see what else we got here today.
My British site is exploring.
Oh, I published a study the other day on black conditions in America, and it goes through and examines all 50 states. If you all want to go out and read that.
Let's go through it real quick.
You want to go through all 50?
Let's go through Arkansas.
Well, I'm on Arkansas right now, and I'm surprised because with Arkansas ending up at the bottom of everything,
It's like another 100 years.
I'm surprised that it's not there. So, where do you think that Arkansas falls on this list?
So tell me again what it's talking about.
All right, let me go back to the beginning.
Yeah, give me a better idea.
Black and white and equity in all 50 states is the name of the article.
Okay, I dig that.
And it came out.
Send me that.
It came out about a year and a half or 2 years ago. While racism may no longer be entrenched in laws, the results of years of discrimination is clear in today's racial divide and myriad inequalities. Recent growing visibility of white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and alt-right groups have further strained race relations. That brings me back to a subject that we missed the other day that I'm going to talk about. Important pieces of legislation, including Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act of 65, represent important landmarks in ensuring that people of all racial backgrounds have the same opportunities. However, even decades later, vast inequalities remain between blacks and whites in the United States. Typically, white household income is nearly double of the typical black household income. Black Americans are twice as likely to be unemployed and 2.5 times more likely to live in poverty compared to white Americans. 1 in 5 African American adults have college education compared to 1 in 3 white adults. Racial inequalities can be found in even the most progressive parts of the country. However, racial-driven outcomes are far more pronounced in some areas than in others. In South Dakota, the black poverty rate is 52.5%, over 5 times that of whites. In New Mexico, black infant mortality rate is nearly 3 times that of white infant mortality rates. Considering 10 separate social economic measures that tend to be unequal along racial lines, 24/7 Wall Street reviewed and ranked all 50 states based on inequality from the most to the least.
Okay.
All right.
And I just read they just released a study, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but I keep hearing it on the news about how they say by 2050, they expect the African American community in America to be, like the average or the median income or revenue to be at like 0.
I've seen that.
Due to technology taking over a lot of the workforce.
And that's because we are not being educated. We're not educating ourselves. So I've seen that stuff. Yeah.
Coding and all these self-checkouts and robots and
I don't use self-checkout.
apps that are taking over.
Every time you use a self-checkout, you're keeping somebody from a job.
True.
I'm just saying.
But that's where technology is taking us, though.
I know.
I mean,
Skynet is aware.
Go back and read 1984.
Skynet is aware.
Also, I got.
You see me laughing. Did I crack a smile when I say that? Watch me. I'm gonna say it again. Skynet is aware.
Is that like Windows?
You don't know what Skynet is?
Don't do this. Don't do this.
You say I'm looking at you. See this serious look on my face.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
You don't know what Skynet is?
Oh, Jesus.
Lord have mercy. How old are you?
I'm just joking.
Oh, don't do it.
You called, and I was gonna say I was about to kick you out the nerd club.
Oh, Jesus.
I was gonna say.
I don't even know I came in today. Yeah.
This is where all the fun's at, man. We get to tell the news and have a good time.
Just
not to enjoy.
Can we get back to
Skynet aware?
Can we get back to the subject at hand, please?
Also, I got one more story. I finally found it. So Smithsonian.com has determined that Africans were actually enslaved earlier than 1619. It's actually like 1523.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I mean, I know, but a lot of people, they're saying that 1619
because of the Spaniards and the
right,
Dutch.
Right. So
well, I guess a more realistic take on that is that 1619 is when they officially started keeping record.
Right, because actually 1615 was when the first slaves got here.
Because these were, I think, when they were originally mostly in the West Indies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And many, but believe it or not, many pirate ships had black people, and they were black, as a matter of fact.
Just like the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger was black.
Yeah.
Was black.
Yeah, no doubt about Bass Reeves.
My homie.
So
my homie.
But anyway, so
Okay.
where do y'all think Arkansas lands on this list? Which really surprised me.
Go ahead, Cliff. Where do you think they land?
What was the question again? What was the full statement? I got distracted with
I-
Skynet.
I- you know,
Skynet got my brain.
Kind of got you nervous, didn't it? Yeah, it'll do that. This is where does Arkansas land on the inequality status of all 50 states?
So at the bottom.
Give me a number. This is from good to bad.
Give us the way it goes.
The best state, believe it or not.
Don't tell. Will you not tell us? Give us the numbers first. What's good and what's bad?
So it's not out of 50. Out of the 50 states.
Yeah, 1 out of 50,
It's
right?
good or
1 out of
bad.
50, good out of bad, right?
Say that again.
1 out of 50. What is our? 1 is good.
One is bad.
1 is bad.
And 50
is
good.
good. Oh,
They
okay.
went in descending order.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
say somewhere around 3.
And
3 being bad.
3 being bad.
The closer you get to number 1, it's bad.
I'm gonna shock y'all because
Actually, maybe 5. I'm gonna go 5.
no, I'm gonna say we fall somewhere in the neighborhood of 32 to 37.
Wow.
Yeah.
Arkansas, and Robert's the closest, by the way. Because I'm going to be honest, when I saw this and read this, I just knew Arkansas was going to be at least in the top 10.
No.
Okay.
It's based on the criteria.
And then what really shocked me is that there are states in the top 10 that aren't in the South. That's what really shocked me.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
So here's Arkansas. Arkansas falls. Well, before we go there, who do you think the worst is?
For black people?
Yes.
God, it's gotta be. I mean, I want to say Mississippi, Alabama,
No.
but I also want to say like Illinois or California.
I'm gonna say Massachusetts.
So I will tell you, based on this criteria, there isn't a southern state in the top 5.
No, come on, give me the top 5 states. Yeah. Hold on, let's go back to the criteria. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah,
There isn't a southern state in the top 5.
Oh God.
Okay.
Which shocked me.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking right off the bat, I'm
Who did
thinking
this research?
I'm thinking Arkansas, not in any order.
Right.
But Arkansas,
Louisiana,
Mississippi, Louisiana,
Georgia.
Tennessee, and Kentucky
Oh
and
yeah,
Georgia.
Kentucky. I forgot about Kentucky. Yeah.
I'm thinking those are my top 6 when I read this. And then I quickly went through the list, and I'm like, because I had to go through the list to find Arkansas. Believe it or not. Okay?
That's kind of remarkable.
That's really shocking to me. So those are so here are your top 5.
I know Illinois is bad.
This is going to boggle your mind.
New York?
Iowa. The African American population is 3.3%, the 13th smallest. The median income for blacks 28.4, for whites 56.6. Unemployment rate is negligible. They don't even show one for blacks.
Because they're insignificant.
And then for whites it's 3.6. Home ownership for blacks in Iowa 26.2%, whites 73.5. Incarceration rates, and this is the stat that boggled my mind on each one of them, because when you look at the low number of blacks and the incarceration rate, there's something going on. Of course, we know that,
Right.
but you got 3.3% black people of your population, yet for every 100,000, 2,349 black people are in prison or incarcerated in Iowa.
For every 100,000.
For every 100,000.
You got 2,000 blacks.
Right.
Jesus.
Okay. And for whites, it's 211. Okay. That's Iowa. That's the 5th. The 4th is Illinois.
Yeah, I knew
Okay.
that.
Not surprised because of
Yeah, we talked about
concentration of
Illinois
Chicago and
last
things of
week.
that nature.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
But even in the African American population, 14.1%, median income 33.9, whites 66.2, Unemployment rate 12.7. For whites, 5 points. Home ownership 38%. Whites 74%. Incarceration rate 1,533 for black, 174 for white. Okay.
Okay.
South Dakota is number 3.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Well, of course they're going to be worse because the numbers are going to be far worse for them because they have less black folks. So of course these places are going to be worse. Okay. With the exception of Illinois.
Minnesota is number 2.
I'm not surprised though, because there's been a lot of stories in Minnesota with police.
Mm-hmm.
I never forget the one where the guy went to go pick up his kid, his daughter, at the school or something, like in a big building or a tower or something, and the cops arrested him for waiting for picking up his kid. And he didn't get him any crime. He was just standing there.
Yeah.
Because he was black and waiting on his daughter. They arrested him and tried to book him for some made up crime. It was crazy. That was back like in 2013, 2014.
Yeah, that's in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, the dude had I think he had braids or dreadlocks or something. So they were just profiling him.
Number 1 is Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, I've heard some stories.
Okay. I've heard some stories about Milwaukee as well. In fact, they say Milwaukee is one of the most racist cities in America.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories.
In fact, they've surpassed Boston, and that Boston used to always get that title.
Where's Massachusetts ranked?
I'll have to go up the list.
Oh, okay. You're gonna read.
Okay, so that's the top 5.
Yeah, but you didn't give me the prison count for Minnesota and Wisconsin.
For Minnesota, the prison count is 1,219. Let's see. For Minnesota, it's 1,219 to 111. For Wisconsin, it's 2,542 to 221. Okay. So that's your top 5.
What? No, you never told us where Arkansas fell.
Let's do the top 10 and then I'll get to Arkansas.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Here's number 10. Kansas. The population is the 23rd smallest. Their incarceration rate is 1,734 per 100,000, 246 per white. Number 9 is Ohio. Y'all want to join the show? Y'all having too much fun?
Oh my God, you gotta look at that.
Number 9 is Ohio.
Ohio.
Okay.
Is that crazy? Is that crazy?
Only a nerd. Only a comic book nerd
would get that, right?
Yeah, okay. All right. Ohio is number 9. Number 8 is Virginia. 1,386 prison, 280 white. Number 7 is Michigan. 1,682 to 243. And I'm just giving prison rates. And number 6 was Pennsylvania. 1810 to 204. Okay. Now, all of these I've seen, black people are in double-digit unemployment.
Yeah, always.
All of them.
Always.
Okay. So when you start talking to politicians and you're saying, where are the jobs? They getting jobs. They're just not giving them to y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Think about that.
Well, again, I think what's problematic here is we have to still keep having a conversation about entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So far in the top 10, I have not named one southern state, have I?
No. That's
amazing to me. The first southern state appears at number 13. That's Alabama. Okay. They have the 6th largest black population in the nation. 26.7%.
The 6th largest. Who has the first largest?
Mississippi.
Ooh. Okay. Mississippi. And what does Mississippi fall? Well, see, that's why they're not that bad, right? Because the more black people you have, the further it raises you up the list.
Exactly. 1417 as far as the incarceration rate, and 425 for white folks. Florida is number 12. That's considered a southern state, although they try to pretend like they're not. Florida, they have the 12th largest black population, 1,622 incarceration to 448 black-white. Louisiana is number 11, 31.9. They have the second largest black population in the nation.
Okay, now give me that prison number. Second largest black population.
1740 to 438.
Jesus.
Yep.
4 times more.
Yep. So that's, let's see, that was Louisiana. So that's the top 15 right there. I'm kind of working my way.
Yeah, working your way up. Okay.
We know that, I think, overall,
these prison numbers are staggering, though.
Yeah.
America puts like over 10 million people through the prison system each year.
Well, we know that's by design now. There's no doubt about that.
Well, it makes sense though. If you want to make sure you got jobs, I mean, you gotta have somebody. You gotta have somebody to create jobs. Black people, we create jobs.
We create jobs for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Create jobs.
Kentucky is number 20. They have the 24th largest population. That's why it amazes me why all those black kids want to go to Kentucky and play basketball, or go to Alabama. The incarceration rate is 1411 black, 431 white.
3 times more. Huh?
Number 19 is Tennessee, 10th largest population. Their incarceration rates are 1166 to 316. Okay, home ownership is 43.5%. By the way. That's
for
a pretty
blacks.
good, for blacks.
That's not bad.
That's a pretty good number. When you start getting up in the 40s.
If you're above 30, if you're above 36, that's really good.
Exactly. Number 18 is Colorado. Check this out. 3.9% black, the 17th smallest. But their incarceration rates for black people, 1891 to 260. Indiana, and I'm reading these for.
Do you understand what? So people can understand. Those numbers are saying you are 6 times more likely to be locked up than a white man in Colorado.
That's why I'm reading.
I don't think people understand that.
Right.
For the marijuana report,
Right. That is why and this is all about what I said about the marijuana. Okay. That's why I pulled this subject today, because I would like to see how many of those people are in jail for marijuana, and I would argue that I'd say 20-30% of them are.
Well, not just marijuana, but anything that's nonviolent.
Nonviolent crimes. Okay. Indiana is 17. They have the 22nd largest black population. 9% of the state of Indiana is black. 9%.
What's their incarceration number?
1616 to 339.
Huh? So almost every state, you are, as a black man or as a black person, you are 5 to 6. You are between 5 and 7 times more likely to go to prison than your white counterpart.
Exactly.
That's nuts.
Same thing.
That's nuts.
Connecticut 9.9, 21st largest population. Incarceration 1392. Whites 148.
10 times? 10 times more likely? Did you say?
Do I need to go back and read?
Yeah, go back and read it again.
Connecticut. Let's see here.
You say 1491 to 145 or something like that?
System's running slow here. So for Connecticut, 1392 to 148.
Okay, 9 times. 9 times more likely.
I'll give or take a digit, right?
A digit, yeah. Jesus.
All right, let's see, we're number 25, 21 through 25. Mississippi is number 25. They have the largest black population in the nation, 37.6. The incarceration rates is 1052 for black, 346 for white.
7 times still.
Oklahoma is number 24, 7.2%, 25th largest black population. And what's peculiar about that is that Oklahoma probably had at one point more black homesteaders and more black towns than any other state in the nation until the racial cleansing began.
Right.
Okay. In fact, there are still areas in Oklahoma today that are designated black towns that are just run down or been bankrupt. Okay. Their incarceration rate was 2,625 black, 580 white.
What did you say?
2,625.
2625.
Right.
And 580.
And 580 for white.
Hold on, Dave. You said 2685.
2625.
2625.
Right. And 580 for white.
Huh?
You get that, right? There's a method to my madness here. Nevada is number 23.
2685 to 580, Dave?
Yeah, 2625 to 580.
Dave, tell me about the home ownership.
Home ownership, 36.6 black, 70.6 white. Unemployment rate, 7.9 black, 4.2 white. Medium household income, 31.4. That's 1,000. White, 51.8.
Okay.
These numbers, your shock should be as it is, and it should shock us all. That's why I'm doing these. I don't like to do numbers because sometimes people don't get numbers, but sometimes we need to look at bare facts, and most times numbers will show us bare facts.
Yeah.
Okay?
So Oklahoma, you're 5 times more likely, but in Colorado, you are 7 times more likely to get locked up. So all these are averaging between 5 and 7.
5 and 7.
Okay.
Nevada, 23rd largest. Incarceration rate 1592. White 387.
Okay, about the same.
Missouri, 19th largest, 11.6. By the way, Missouri was one of the most racist states in America. Pierce City, which is on that documentary that I've recommended for you all to watch, is part of that. It's in Missouri. Okay. The incarceration rate 1654, 404 white. So that's about 4 times. Okay. That's Missouri. And number 21 is Texas. 18th largest, 11.7 black population. 1844 to 457 as far as incarceration rates. 1854 to 447.
So 6 times.
Mm-hmm. North Carolina is number 30. 7th largest black population. Incarceration rate 951 to 221.
How much?
951 to 221. So far, this has been the first one and only one that's been less than 1,000.
And what city is it? State is that?
North Carolina.
But it's still 7 though.
Exactly. Number 29 is
7.
South Carolina. 27.2, 5th largest black population. Incarceration rate 1,030 to 238.
1,030
to 238.
Which makes it 8 times more. What'd you say, Dave?
1,000. Let me go back and get the numbers. 1,030 to 238.
So, okay, yeah. 1,030 to 238. So it makes it about 7 times, 7, 8 times more likely. Okay.
All right, number 28, girls and boys, is your home state.
I knew it.
Arkansas.
I knew it. What is? Give me the numbers.
15.7, 11th largest black population. Medium household income is 27.2. For white is 46.3. Unemployment rate is 7.7. For black, 3.3 for white. Home ownership rate is 42.0 for black and 70.8 for white. Incarceration rate is 1665 to 443.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
4 times more likely than Little Rock. That's, you know, Little Rock's probably the lowest one so far. At 4 times.
Oh, you mean Arkansas?
I mean Arkansas, right? 4 times.
Nebraska, 4.7, 19th smallest, 1680 to 201.
1680.
To 201.
8 times more.
8 times more likely. So what you're finding is that the states that have fewer blacks, although the numbers are smaller percentage-wise, there are more blacks being sent to prison.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise.
Yeah.
But that's where you can take numbers and make them work the way you want. You have to break down the percentages and say, hey, look, what are the actual numbers?
Well, listen, if you had, so they're doing this for every 100,000. That being the case, I mean, it just tells you that you're 4 times more likely to go to prison than your counterparts if you live in Little Rock. You're 4 times more likely. But in Colorado still blows my mind. You're 7 times more likely to go to jail or prison than your counterparts. 7 times.
Yep.
Some places it's close to 8 times, and that's tough.
Massachusetts, I think you asked about that.
Yeah, I did ask about Mass.
6.8, the 25th smallest. Incarceration rate, 605 black, 81 white. Per 100,000. Wyoming, the Plains, their African American population is 0.8%, 1%.
So wasn't it?
Their African American population is 0.8%.
Okay, so they should have maybe 50 to 2. There should be like 50 to 2.
1307 to 3.
Wait. Dude, you said 0.8%. Hold on, man.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
0.8%.
Go ahead and do your thing. I gotta look at Big Pop. I gotta go to the assistant's day. I can't do that.
Okay.
Hold on. And remember the numbers for me, Cliff. Give me the numbers back. Give me the numbers back again for Wyoming.
1307 to 375.
1307 to 375.
Man, come on.
So that's about 4 times more likely. Which still, with that minuscule number of black people,
It shouldn't even be that close.
right? With only 0.8% population of black people, that's still a lot of people.
Strength in numbers.
Here's Maine. Wyoming has less blacks than Maine does. Maine only has 1% black population. It's 839 to 140 in Maine.
I'm not saying I should feel better, but that's a little bit better.
Georgia, number 32, they have the 3rd largest black population. That's why Atlanta is so crazy. 30.9%. Prison incarceration rate, 1066 to 321.
366?
1066.
7 times.
New York, 14.4. 896 to 112.
How much?
896 to 112.
7 times. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, listen now. Wyoming's white population is 92%. And here it has in the census data that their black population makes up 1.3%. So
when was that last census taken?
2018.
Okay.
So
this report came out in 2017. So they went up 0.2%.
Yeah.
So blacks are moving to Wyoming. Yeah, baby. Home on the range where the deer and the antelope graze. Well, seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. I actually got that from Elmer Fudd. Number 40 is Rhode Island.
You got issues.
5.4% black, 934 to 112 incarceration rate.
It should technically be a little higher than that, population-wise.
Maryland, 29%. Fourth largest black folks. Incarceration rate 862 to 185. Utah, one.
Hold on, Dave. Hold on 1 minute, player. Hold on 1 minute, player. Go back to Wyoming. I need you to go back to Wyoming real quick.
Why do I need to go back to Wyoming?
I need you to give me the numbers again.
Let's see, I think they're on this slide. All right, let me go back to Wyoming. North Carolina, South Carolina, Kansas, Arizona. Did I do Arizona?
No, you must have skipped over Arizona.
Here, check this out. Arizona, 4.1%, 18th smallest, 2,126 to 444.
Five and a half, 6 times more likely. Dang.
Yeah, but still, that when you look at those numbers.
But see, this is the thing. This is what's problematic for me. So you said that Wyoming was what?
Go ahead and make your point. I'll pull up Wyoming.
So I think you said Wyoming had like 1,000 people, like 1,000, 1,600 people, something like that incarcerated. Mm-hmm. Is that the number you gave me?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, their total black population ain't but 7,500 folks. So you telling me that
most of them in prison?
You telling me that you 7,500 folks? Yeah, you got 80% of them, 20% of them in prison.
That's crazy.
20% of the people in your state are in prison. 20% of the black folks are in prison.
I forgot what Wyoming was. Maybe it was further up.
Yeah, it was before. It was right before Rhode Island. It's above all those.
Let me see if it's here. But yeah, that's a huge number.
But you got 70. So it says that. So just to give people some background, what they're looking for that. So Wyoming has a total population of 577, 737 per the 2018 census population estimates, right? And of that 577, 737, they have black or African American alone percentage, they have 1.3. So if you divide 577, multiply 577 into 1.3, you get, where is it? You get 7,510, right? That's 1.3%. Now, you say you got 1,600 of those folks in prison.
Yep.
How the hell? That's 20% of your population.
And the question is, do they have private prisons?
They must have private prisons.
Because there's no way for me to tell. I'd have to do some research. But I'd be curious to know. Here's Wyoming. They were number 31. 1,307 to 375.
10 times more likely.
So 1,307 to 375, that's not 10 times.
1,307?
To 375.
1,307, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
But when you look that they have the third smallest black population, every 100,000 people, 1,300 of them are going to jail or incarcerated. That's a disturbing number, to say the least.
7,510. And tell me the number again. 13 what?
1,307.
1,307.
To 375. Okay, let's move on. We got a few more, and then we'll wrap this up.
Whew. Can't breathe.
Rhode Island. Did we do that one? Yeah, we did Rhode Island. We did Maryland. Here's Utah. 1.1, the fifth smallest. 1,481 to 202. That's 7 times. New Mexico, the 11th smallest, 2%. 1,326 to 208. That's about 6.5 times. Alaska, 1,053 to 278.
Same thing. We're in the same place 5 times.
So right now, what is the smallest we've gotten down to 4 times more likely? Because Arkansas was 4 times more likely.
Arkansas and somebody else was 4 times more likely.
North Dakota, 2.2%, 12th smallest, 888 to 170.
Sweet Jesus.
Washington State, 3.5%, 15th smallest, 1272 to 222. Delaware. Believe it or not, there's a lot of black folks in Delaware. I found that out when I went to Philadelphia. And I'm going to say this, don't get offended, but there are a lot of gorgeous black women from Delaware. And I mean black women, dark as the night black. I mean blue black. And I'm talking about drop dead gorgeous. Now, Cliff, I know you can't comment on this, so you just sit over there.
I like the ones in Maryland.
That's a good answer.
But man, there's some gorgeous dark-skinned women from Delaware. So 1238 to 259 is their number. And they have the 8th largest black population in the country. Delaware. Can y'all believe that?
Who?
Delaware.
Has the what?
The 8th largest black population in the country. That's crazy. But I realize that, like, you know, Philadelphia is just a hop, skip, and a jump from Delaware. And
okay, so this is what we're going to do at a later date, because this is what's troubling. So, Wyoming, private prisons, right? I'm trying to get a list of private prisons
because that's what I'm saying. I'd be curious to know, based on these numbers, how many of those states have private prisons?
Incarcerating private prisons. Okay, so I got a list now. So here we go. Now it all makes sense to me. Colorado makes sense.
Private prison.
Private prison.
There
makes
you go.
sense. Arkansas. Hold on. No.
No, Arkansas doesn't have private prisons.
Hold on. Let me make sure I'm reading the right thing. Incarcerating private.
While you're looking that up, Vermont, 1.2, 6th smallest. 2, check this out, 2,357 to 222. They're damn near 2,500 people.
What now?
That's Vermont.
What's the number?
Their black population is 1.2%. Their number is 2,357 per 100,000.
Okay, well, that's okay. You know why that's okay? Vermont said you can vote while you're in prison. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm being facetious.
Florida's trying to do it.
Yeah.
Florida's been trying to pass that.
Wait a minute, man.
Oregon, 1.8, 9th smallest. 2061 to 366.
2061
to 366.
Damn, 7 times? 6 times? 7 times? Damn.
These, and I'm doing this on purpose. I came in here with a mission today. And I don't like to throw numbers at people, like I say, because sometimes people get uncomfortable with numbers. But it's important for us to understand
who you are to the world.
Right.
Because to the world, you're nothing more
than dollars.
Than a dollar sign.
You're still a commodity. When you were first brought to America, you were a commodity, and you don't understand that you're still a commodity.
Still a commodity.
Okay? And you all continue to want to be commodities. Whether you're doing prison or whether you're spending money at their businesses. That's why I'm doing this. Okay? New Hampshire is 46th, 1.4%, 1040 to 202 as far as incarceration rates.
Okay, so let's look at this, Dave. Let me give you the Arizona. What's right outside of Texas? To the west. New Mexico?
You got New Mexico and Arizona.
Okay, so New Mexico, 30% private prisons. 30% of their prisons are private. Arizona, at least 20% of their prisons are private.
See, so I'm willing to bet you if we could juxtapose this study with the states that have private prisons, the states that have the higher numbers are private prison states.
Prison states, yeah. Because you're talking about Colorado. Hold on, what was Colorado?
And what's weird about Colorado is the fact that they had legalized marijuana there for almost it's close to 5 years now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I think it's close to 5 years then. So for those numbers to be that high,
at least 3 years.
Yeah,
Colorado.
So if in Colorado, that just seems really peculiar. It really does.
Arkansas, no private prison. So Arkansas, Louisiana. So you got a straight line going up. So everything above us. Louisiana, Arkansas. What's above us on the top? Missouri, Iowa, and what's above Iowa? Wisconsin? No. Michigan. Yeah, all those no private prisons, and whatever's Illinois and Wisconsin, no private prisons. But everybody else, yeah, private prisons.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road, yeehaw. 3.8.
We don't know. Nobody asked.
1234 to 348. That's about four times.
So what? Which one was it?
That's West Virginia. I'm gonna tell you one, and we're getting to that because it's the last one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why it just stunned me. I couldn't believe it because I'm like, okay. Oh, let me go back. So the last one is. Can you guess? We went through all of this. No.
I'm trying to remember who we had. I'm trying to remember who we have in Florida. No, we did Florida.
Hawaii. It is.
Wait.
1.9% of the population. Now Hawaii is not the first.
How do you determine? How do you determine black folks in Hawaii? How do you differentiate between? Okay,
I'm gonna make a comment on that because since I spent almost 3 weeks in Hawaii, and I saw a total of 3 black people.
Okay, I'm ready. All right.
One of them was my son.
Okay, let's go then.
Okay. So the African American population in Hawaii is 1.9%. It has the 10th smallest. The median income for blacks is 69.4. I mean 69,400.
Okay.
Now that's understandable because of the cost of living.
The cost of living.
For whites, and by the way, it has the closest gap of all of them. For whites, it's 74.1.
So $5,000 difference. Okay.
It's a $5,000 difference.
Okay, this might be good.
Okay.
Okay.
The unemployment rate, they don't even have a measurement for blacks. For whites, it's 3.4. Home ownership, 23.2.
Ooh.
And for, trust me, if you own a home in Hawaii, you packing like a minor meal. Okay. For whites, it's 53.6. The incarceration rate is 585 per black.
585.
Right.
Okay.
And whites is 246.
You say 545 to 286?
585 to 246.
585 to 246.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that can't be right.
Why?
Because it says like two times more likely to be
sent to prison in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine prison in Hawaii? I can't.
Gotta be good.
No. I can't imagine prison, period, dog. I'm sorry.
I bet I can get a lay in prison. You've been saying corky stuff. You've been saying stuff all day. I had to take a shot. I had to take a shot at one.
So, Hawaii, and the point being is, being in Hawaii for 2.5 weeks. I mean, it's kind of like when we go places. What do we do as black folks? We look for black folks, right? Everywhere we look. I don't care where. When I was in Pettigene, one of the comments I made was, because there were quite a few black folks up there.
That's what I do every time I go to California with my wife, because it's mostly Hispanic and white people.
Right. You got to know where to go in Los Angeles. I mean, black folks all over LA.
Yeah, but it's Northern California.
Yeah. Well, Northern California, they're there too. You got to go to Oakland. Go across the bay.
I'm really.
But what I'm saying is, while in Hawaii, I purposely looked for black folks.
And?
I looked for them because, black folks usually have fast food jobs. Although we didn't go to a lot of in fact, we didn't eat at a fast food restaurant at all.
Okay.
But, you know, you drive by them. Me, I'm looking for black folk. We did go to Safeway because I cooked dinner for my son.
Okay.
And no black folks.
Where were the black folks? They were all in jail.
Well, maybe so. I don't know. But, well, these are supposed to be residents. These are not supposed to be military personnel.
Stay there for just a minute.
Okay.
Stay there for just
Now, there are a lot of black folks who have stayed, who were in the military.
Maybe they're on a different island.
Who have stayed, and this is Hawaii, period. This is the entire state.
I don't know, maybe the ones you didn't see were on a different island.
Well, maybe they're still living in the bush, Cliff. Who knows?
Maybe they were in Maui.
Both of y'all got problems.
You know, I'm just saying. Maybe they're on the North Shore. The North Shore was beautiful, by the way. But I don't know. But the reason I wanted to go through this survey and I did this purposely because I want people to understand what's going on in America as it relates to black people. Okay. Black people, as you said, have always been a commodity. From the time that they've crossed these shores, they have been a commodity. And it is my conjecture that part of the reason that we've remained in this situation is because we've allowed ourselves to remain in this situation. You see? And it's going to continue until black people decide, you know, to not only go vote, but vote consciously. You know, it's that old saying, people will say, well, you know, knowledge is power. No, it isn't. Applied knowledge is power. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you never do practical application and apply it to your everyday life, then you have no power. Robert, you look a little pensive over there. You okay?
Give me a minute, man. Give me a minute.
I think David will need some therapy after the show.
You mean Robert?
Yeah, Robert.
I just came back from my therapist before the show, so they said I'm crazy as a Bessie bug.
Well.
Just take the pills, Mr. Coleman. They ain't taking no dang pills. But yeah, this is a disturbing, you know, release. Now, this was released in 2017. It's that's 2 years ago. It's still pretty credible. Not much has changed since then.
And it explains a lot about, you know, the mentality of people within the criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to black people, they're only worried about trying to, you know, just rushing through the system and get, you know, move on to the next person.
Good point.
Whereas white people, it's more about, okay, did they actually do it or not? And then, you know, if you have money. But if you don't have money, then just like black people, hurry through the process. Let's get to the next one and get it over with. Let me go home for the day.
So Hawaii, believe it or not, is the closest as far as the two incarceration rates.
Systematic oppression.
Hawaii is about double, where the others were, the minimum was four times more likely.
Okay, so just check this out. So you got 31,250 black folks in Hawaii. Okay?
Where were they when I was there?
They were probably in jail.
They were probably hiding. Wait, here come look, and here's the weird thing. Didn't even see any police in Hawaii. As far as sub-traffic cops. Didn't see any patrol cars. The only time I saw cops were on the interstate when they were giving people tickets for speeding. Didn't see them patrolling any neighborhoods or anything like that. It's weird.
Okay, hold on. It's one thing I need to find out.
Women were good looking though, but I don't guess
one
that
thing
makes
is problematic for
nice
me.
guards out there too.
Okay, so again, I said that there was there were persons in poverty, 9.5%.
That's Hawaii.
It's expensive.
9.5%.
12 bucks?
You say what?
What's milk up to, like 12 bucks a gallon?
You know, the food is not really that much. It's reasonable. There are certain things, because one thing I learned is I try to buy everything. Most things have to be shipped to the island. But when we went shopping at Safeway, it wasn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be.
Some Hawaiian steak?
No.
You eat it?
No, why would I get a Hawaiian steak? That's some concoction some white man made up on the mainland.
Yeah, this is the spam.
Oh, no, I didn't get any spam. stay.
That's what a lot of people over there call it.
I know. Okay, that just shows you where I was. I didn't eat any spam. I ate seafood. I ate all foreign places.
I know who you hit up.
Thai. That's the man right there. Yeah. Per capita income.
I ate Thai. I ate seafood. I ate Korean.
They got $18 billion in total retail sales.
Hawaii?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
18 billion.
Tourism.
They don't have many indoor malls either.
Yeah, those are still everywhere.
Oh my goodness. Total retail sales per capita. 13 billion.
I'm not surprised.
They're making money hand over fist.
But you got to also realize that it is a huge tourist attraction as well. So all of that plays into those retail sales.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, no, my point is it makes sense.
Yeah.
I bet between them and LA, probably them, LA. What's another city that has a lot of tourists?
San Francisco has a huge tourist. New York is another one. Miami.
Yeah, I bet between those, I bet they have the highest revenue probably.
Wouldn't be well.
They better enjoy it while it lasts.
I could see that, but also you got to understand that the cost of living in Hawaii is double that of everybody else too. You know, now the 2-bedroom flat my son stays in is $2,400 a month, and it's actually a nice apartment. Okay, it's roomy, got a patio, but I saw a ad this morning on Facebook. New York City 1-bedroom apartment. It started at $2,940.
Okay, let's look at the average rents then.
Okay, I saw one the other day from Los Angeles, and I mentioned this yesterday. It had a half bath, just a half bath.
Oh Jesus!
So theirs was like 34.
Median gross rent $1,507.
Where?
Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
That's your median gross rent.
Yeah.
$1,507.
Oh yeah.
I like the coast.
It's like 3 times lower.
I don't know. Virginia was. They had this brand new apartment. They were building the gates and everything, and they were starting out at 1,000.
And it's amazing too how many people are homeless in Hawaii. We were talking to one guy where he was talking about other states were talking about flying their homeless people, buying them a one-way ticket to Hawaii. And many people believe that some states did actually do that. They dumped their homeless people. And when you go downtown to Honolulu, they're everywhere. They're off the interstate.
I love Honolulu. I've never been there. I love Honolulu. You know I love Honolulu, right?
Do I want to answer this?
Yeah, you want to answer it.
Why do you love Honolulu?
Because, man, Hawaii 5-0.
Book 'em,
McGarrett.
Book 'em, Dano.
McGarrett.
Cliff don't know what the hell we're talking about.
He has no
I know
idea.
it's a TV show before my time.
Yeah, it was. It was
Yeah,
before Robert's
just a
time
little
either,
bit.
but he's just channeling it.
Whatever. It wasn't before my time. Well, yeah, okay. If you want to say so, yeah, I guess to some degree.
But no, they're downtown. And remember, I told you that we were when I first got there.
Seems like Atlanta.
We were driving down the interstate, and I kept seeing these people walking beside the interstate. And during the time that I got there, we got there in rush hour, so we were bumper to bumper. So we'd go a little bit and stop, so I had a good chance to see. So this guy and this lady was walking outside of the median down the interstate, and then they made a right into the bush and disappeared. And I'm in the car looking, and what's going on? What's going on? So as we went a little further, I began to look further into, and then as we drove around over that time I was there, I would purposely look down off the interstates, and because there's so much lush overgrowth that if you look carefully, you see tent cities all through the undergrowth. Okay. And then the other thing is that a lot of small streams run through that undergrowth. And I saw people with fishing poles, so they're fishing and eating out of those streams as well. So, it's a lot of homelessness in Hawaii.
I gotta confirm this, but they said they report all these in millions, but technically they're billions. So they give it to you like 481,000. It may look like 481 million, but technically it's 4.8. It's 4 point. It would be 481 billion. So they're saying, I gotta confirm this, that in 2012, and by the way, the financials they do every 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So this was done in 2012, and in 2012, California, if this is right, did 481 billion in retail sales.
I'm not surprised.
I gotta check. I gotta confirm that.
And the reason I'm not surprised because I would argue that majority of that was generated in Southern California. You know why?
Well,
I don't know this to be true, but you think about all the industries that's in Southern California, Hollywood.
Right.
So I imagine that's part of that lick.
Jesus. But persons in poverty, 13.2 in California. And their rent is actually $13.58. It's actually lower than Hawaii's.
Okay, you try to get something for $13.58 in Los Angeles.
That's what they're saying. The median.
Yeah, I'm just saying you try to get something for $1,300
Say not possible,
okay.
Right?
Oh, you can get something.
You might not want to live there.
Yeah, just make sure that you got your crouching tiger, hidden dragon.
Yeah, median gross rent, and this is 2017 numbers. It's $13.58. Yeah.
So, I just thought I'd throw that out there. We spent most of the show talking about that, but the point being, because I wanted to focus on the incarcerations, and the point being is that what's going on in America today, when you go back and you look at history, when you go back and you look at the Emancipation Proclamation coming forward, and the Freedmen's Bureau, the 13th Amendment, all of that stuff, you begin to realize that, hey, man, that's the same stuff going on today that it was then. We've just dressed it up. We put it in pretty hotels. We've said that, oh, yeah, you can go eat at McDonald's, but we're going to arrest your son. We may not arrest you, but we're going to arrest your little boy.
We're going to get somebody.
Okay. Because, number one, we got to make sure that these prisons, a lot of people don't realize as far as these prisons are concerned, many of them have went to state legislators, and they have guarantees to maintain a 95% occupancy rate. Did y'all know that?
Yeah. Because they're not profitable if they're not above 95%. Right?
So what does that mean? That means
not above 90%.
That means that your legislators, because if they don't maintain that 95% occupancy rate, then the states are penalized. So what that means is that your legislators are passing bogus poop butt laws to make sure people go to jail.
Meet those thresholds, yeah.
Okay? Or extending sentences.
Right.
To make sure that people are staying in jail longer.
I read a great article. It talked about a guy who was sentenced to 4 years, 4 or 5 years, but he ended up doing 12. He was sentenced to 4 or 5 years, and he did 12.
Probably because of some rules that he broke it while he was in prison.
He got an extra year for a fight that didn't exist. He got
private prison.
Yeah, he got 2 years for an escape attempt that was not true. What else did he get?
Was he black?
I think so.
It doesn't sound like he had an attorney either.
It was an article. They didn't give me a picture of it.
It doesn't sound like he had legal counsel.
But I mean, I think sometimes, now again, I'm not advocating on behalf of anybody else, but I'm just making a point that when you start talking about prison, I feel to some degree prison really has no color. It's more about what you can afford. Because if you are white and you poor, your butt going too. Because those numbers were not rich people going to prison. Because rich people, we know, or people of means don't go to prison.
Well,
because they can afford the attorneys who can find a loophole to get them out. So.
I agree with you, and I agree with the premise of your statement, but we find that even though whites do go to prison for similar crimes, They get less time.
They get less time. I'll totally agree with that. But my point is,
you get a lot more leniency as well. Like sometimes you get probation versus citizen.
Right. You get diversion, things of that nature, as opposed to it's going to be straight 5 for you, black boy.
I mean, the Brock Turner kid was a prime example.
Classic example. Yeah, that's who I was thinking about, Brock Turner. Or remember the kid
remind me of
Brock Turner was the Stanford rapist who raped the girl that was intoxicated.
The girl behind the dumpster, Stanford.
And,
oh yeah.
And he didn't do any time.
Right.
And that was mostly because he had money, but also.
Yeah, but part of that, look, if he would have had money and he was black, he was going to go to prison.
Yeah, because the other athlete that they showed actually found out later on that the girl falsely accused him of it.
Brian Brown.
And he still stayed in there for, 4 years or so?
Well, he would have still been in there. The only reason he was exonerated is because she started writing letters to him. She started feeling guilty. And she wrote a letter to him telling him that she made it all up. Otherwise, he'd still be in prison. So blacks go to prison more often than whites. We know that. And I agree, Robert, a lot of it is about means, but a lot of it is about racism. Pure and simple. Pure and simple. We have a classic case that just happened, the Muhammad Noor case. Juxtapose that case against any other white shooting in America. Mm-hmm. Muhammad Noor got 12 and a half years for doing the same stuff that white folks do, white cops do every day. And these white cops are not going to jail.
Right.
They're not going to jail. So, it's a problem that we talk about, but again, how do you fix the problem? That's the $1 million question right there, because it needs to be resolved. But again, until black folks stop this, well, see, he shouldn't have been. Every time I hear somebody say that or read that, I just want my hand automatically cuffs.
It gets under my skin.
It's choking.
There was someone in Little Rock that I used to look up to who was supposed to be someone active in the community, and they made a comment like that with the I think it was a Charles Smith situation where the cops struggled with him at the traffic light or the traffic stop.
Mm-hmm.
And they say you put out a gun on the video or whatever, and they're like, well, he shouldn't have had a gun. He should have pulled out the gun. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man. Even if he did pull out the gun, we've seen countless situations where white people have done the same thing or worse, and they were still arrested civilly.
Yeah,
and
taking the lunch,
not killed, and
got a walk.
Yeah, so that excuse doesn't work anymore. Like, this whole identity politics and respectability politics doesn't necessarily work.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter if you wear a suit or just sag your pants. The FBI is still going to kill you if they think you're doing too much.
Which reminds me, there's a town in Louisiana who is actually arresting black boys for sagging pants, putting them in jail.
They tried to pass that law when I was in Virginia back in 2004, I think it was.
Well,
it got voted down, like barely, but it got voted down because they were trying to make that like a state law.
White people, again. Mm-hmm. Why are they trying to pass that law? They help private prisons. Look, the key now is, in my opinion, that when you hear about stupid laws about to be passed or being passed that will incarcerate people, find out if their state has private prisons. That's the key.
That is the key. Yeah.
That's the key, because that's why they're doing that. States got to understand that you benefit more by people outside of prison, on the rolls, working, paying taxes, than you do by putting them in prison.
Like Denmark has the best system right now because they have their system set where they rehabilitate the prisoners while they're in there.
And their prisons don't even look like prisons.
Yeah, they allow them to have hobbies and learn job skills.
Conjugal visits, if I remember correctly. I think.
Yeah, I would have let them have conjugal visits. Keep down the stress. Yeah.
They get to finish their school. They get to go to higher education while they're in there.
And where is that?
They're like
Denmark.
They're
Switzerland is similar too.
Yeah, they're the happiest country in the world right now. But they have their whole system is dedicated to helping the inmates have what they need so they don't go back to prison. So if it means they need to be more educated, then they give that to them. If it means that they need some sort of hobby or skill, like playing the guitar or learning how to weld, they allow them to have the time to do that so they can do something when they get out. If it means they need, some sort of counseling or whatever, they give that to them as well. And they have free healthcare as well. So the whole thing is pretty much taken care of.
Well, that's going to wrap up the show for today. Robert went fast today.
Denmark. I got to get Denmark's prison population.
Robert, you enjoy your trip to Pebble Beach.
They're mostly white too, though. So.
Thank you very much, y'all.
Just be careful.
I'm gonna miss you, fellas.
You will get profiled up there.
You going to Florida?
I get profiled here.
You big, you black, you ugly.
Thank you, Dave.
So
you going to Florida?
No, he's going to Northern California to Pebble Beach.
I won't be as bad.
To the U.S. Open.
Not Northern California, Dave.
I thought you were going to Florida.
Southern California. Southern California. No, yeah, you're right. Northern. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to Pebble Beach.
I don't feel that bad for him.
He's going to Pebble Beach.
I know.
Only black folks allowed at Pebble Beach are the groundskeepers.
Will Smith.
And they cutting grass.
Bagger Vance.
Okay.
Y'all sick.
I'm just saying. So I'm gonna
purposely. Like number 7 sauce? Would you like your putter?
I'm gonna.
Y'all not funny, man.
I think you should put this one in, son.
It's in the hole. It's in the hole. Oh no, that's Caddyshack.
That's a mighty short shot right there. Cross up there green.
I'm just saying. I'm gonna watch the U.S. Open this week and look for a black spot. Okay. When they do the fly over view, I'm just gonna look for a little black spot of black folks. I'm gonna know that's y'all.
Oh Lord.
Okay, and then at that point, I'm gonna send you a text. Okay.
What does my family say? Like a flying sugar.
You know, there you go. Is that Robert and his boys? Oh man, they got handcuffs on. That's messed up.
Hopefully not.
But no, enjoy your weekend. I think you'll enjoy it. That's something that I've always wanted to do. Not necessarily go to a golf tournament, but I do just to see the beauty of, because I'm a nature freak. To see the beauty of Pebble Beach and off the ocean and that breeze blowing in. Oh, it's awesome.
Take a dip for me.
And then of course, stay away from the white women. Okay?
No, you can't have any.
Don't look at them. Don't look at them. I'm just saying.
Unless they're a Kardashian.
Yeah, and then they'll be looking at you. Is that Robert Will? Robert Will, what you doing here? I've been following you on Facebook.
Y'all got problems.
But no, enjoy your trip, man. Seriously, I think you.
I'm gonna miss y'all. I'm gonna miss y'all.
Hey, if you go, bring me back a nice bottle of wine. If you go to a winery.
I'll probably go to a brew house before I go to a winery. But then if I do go to a winery,
okay, I'm just saying. I said if you go to a winery, you know that's for upper crust black folks. I know you're gonna be slumming. Don't you got to wear a tie and stuff to that event too?
What's that? To
Pebble Beach? No, you don't. Okay, I'm thinking about something else. I was thinking about a wedding. All right, so we got to get out of here. Y'all got quotes for today?
Where mine goes, the body follows.
Spend money on community. If you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
Brilliant minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. And small minds discuss people. Which do you possess? We're out of here. Hope y'all enjoy yourself. See you tomorrow.
I just got sleepy all of a sudden. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me.
Where'd the mouse go?
You knocked on the floor.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know it was right there. I got it.
I didn't even hear it. Thank you.
Oh. You've been listening to Black Focus, where we discuss our issues with our solutions and our voices. Join us.
All right, guys, I'm headed to
1 p.m. on Joint Radio.
To therapy.
That man get well, man.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to do everything the doctors say. Enjoy your trip, man.
Oh yeah, man.
You will.
Go down. Peace, y'all.
All right, man.